What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to jump in and do a recap of the episode of Teen Mom OG that we saw yesterday and then go back and film one from last week. So I've been super busy. I got some stuff installed around my house. My career is going great. I finally got that permanent position. I went from contractor to permanent in my company, and I'm preparing to give like a seminar talk on a panel for one of the biggest tech companies in the world. So I'm really excited about that. I'm keeping really busy with it, but I'm still excited to come back and talk about our show Teen Mom OG with you. So let's just jump into what happened on yesterday's episode. We started off with Tyler and Nova going back to visit Kate, and guys, he kept stressing about how much orders he had to fulfill, this, that, and the other, and I just feel like, what are you even stressing out over something as simple as shipping out products for when there's a fulfillment center literally in Michigan? I used to do e-commerce. I used to have an online clothing store, and I would get all my products shipped to a fulfillment center in Michigan, and I feel like that's probably something that they could do to streamline the process and make it so much easier for them, because shipping fulfillments is one of the worst parts of having an online business. So if they're still watching this, I know Tyler creeps around from time to time, look into getting a fulfillment place. It's dirt cheap, and it just pays for itself after your first 5 orders. That's what I would advise for them. Anyway, while they're with Kate, Tyler tells her about Butch's progress in rehab and how he seems to be doing quite well, and he's in fact on the 3rd step out of 12 steps in his program, which apparently is really good considering he hadn't been in rehab for that long. Kate didn't seem all that interested, and I was a bit disappointed to see that she didn't ask Tyler anything about how he's feeling, with the fact that both his dad and his wife are in treatment. He's running the business. He just mentioned how stressful it was with the shipping and stuff, and how he's handling all of it. I think that in a relationship you have to check in on each other and know how the other person is feeling and how you can help with their feelings and stuff. And just time and time again, Kate doesn't really do that. But then again, it could be editing. 90% of the stuff they shoot isn't used in the show, so I kind of want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but it's just been her pattern, as long as I've been watching, at least the last 3 or 4 years, to not really ask Tyler about his feelings. Meanwhile, in Tennessee, Maci and Taylor sit on the porch and talk about Kate's rehab stint, and Maci says that she wants to go visit her the upcoming weekend. And then we head on over to Indiana, where Amber finds out that Gary and Christina had been calling her a bad mom and, exposing how little she sees Leah. This stuff has been going on so long, it just feels so endless as a recapper, that Amber's already seen the first half of the show. Remember when Gary and Christina were talking about how Amber had only visited Leah about twice over the course of a summer. When I was grade school age, summer was about 3 months, 2.5, 3 months. So that is a shockingly low amount of time. And of course, Amber is in complete denial about everything. This bird had the audacity to call Gary and Christina liars. She was like, those people are lying about how, how often I've seen Leah. They said I only saw Leah twice over the summer. I saw her 3 times. Really, bitch? Really? In the span of 3 months, you are up here on television thinking you are saying something about the quality of your motherhood by stating that you'd visited your daughter 3 times over the span of 3 months. That's crazy. Imagine being that out of touch. This girl is dumb as a box of bricks. At the risk of being dragged again, these are just my opinions. I'm neither right nor wrong, just opinions. At the risk of being dragged again, I just have to say I'm so tired of how some of these people play the mental illness card whenever it's convenient for them, okay? Amber is too depressed, this, that, and the other to see her own child, but she's never too depressed to date around. Even before Andrew, she was dating someone else. She pulled this the last time with Matt. She wouldn't see Leah before she got with Matt. Then all of a sudden she went into all of this. It just doesn't make any sense that this is the one thing that you can't do. And, your mental illness prevents you from doing it. And, again, she went to dating. That didn't stop her. She's also on every red carpet. That didn't stop her. She's shooting reality shows. She can go away and do that, but she can't see her own child. It doesn't make like any sense. And on top of that, she was stupid enough to get pregnant yet again by a complete stranger. So like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, you know you have these problems, but yet here you are with, you know, bringing another child into it. And it's so stupid. I have no sympathy for her whatsoever. I don't believe that she's too depressed to see Leah. I think she just doesn't really have a bond with Leah and doesn't care to be a parent, point blank, and the period. So we switch back on over to Gary's world, where he tells Christina about Amber chewing him out via telephone and says that it's stupid she'd even do that because what they said about Amber not seeing Leah is factually true. They reiterated how she didn't see Leah, you know, most of the summer, all but twice, and she blames it on her breakup with Matt. And Gary was like, listen, you and I broke up. That was heartbreaking for me, but I didn't just decide not to be, you know, a parent. Like, why do you get to check out whenever the heck you want to, but I don't have the same luxury? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, and people in the real world, and I love that he said in the real world, because I think this is true of some of the other people too, cough, cough, I'm not gonna name any names, but they just, like, so many people, like, I feel like the majority of people in this world suffer from some form of like a mental illness, a depression, and anxiety or something, and they still function because they have to. Even these people, when the show was off, they still functioned because they have to. But now that they're coddled with more money than they can handle, they just act like they, you know, they're not able to function. And it irritates the whole entire SHIT out of me when it comes to their excuses for why they can't parent their kids, why they can't hold a job, all of that. Anyway, Gary also said that, like, again, people in the real world suffer with these problems too, but they don't decide to parent when it's convenient just because they're going through depression or a divorce or a breakup or they had a bad day at work. He actually also aired out her drug habits. I had no clue this heifer was out here snorting pills, but I did know that she was doing drugs and going to jail and all the other stuff. And then Gary brought up again how she was too depressed to see Leah, but she wasn't too depressed to have yet another man on her arm. And then we move on over down south to Tennessee, where I found it really weird that Mackenzie put her son down when he was having a little bit of like a mood. You know how kids are that young, like little tantrums, moods, trying your patience and stuff. She's like, oh, you're just like your father. Stop acting like your father. And then Hudson seemed to have like a little bit of a quote unquote meltdown over it, for lack of a better word. And she seemed to revel in that. And I just thought it was a really weird game to play. She then heads in the house to talk to Ryan about Hudson's schedule, you know, with her baby daddy. And Ryan seemed high as F in that scene, you guys. She also says that being with Ryan gave her more respect for her baby daddy, and she low-key called Maci self-righteous and accused her of keeping Bentley from Ryan. Like, it's not a necessary evil that Maci has to do for the sake of Bentley while his dad is like a drug addict who refuses to show that he's clean off of drugs. Like, really, Mackenzie? I know you're like a little young here, but really, especially considering the fact that you've got your own children, you can't see where Maci's coming from on this. Really. Back over in Arizona, Butch calls Tyler and he seemed relatively happy on the phone and optimistic, but he also said that he feels out of place at the facility because the other people come from money. Remember, guys, this place is expensive. What is it, like $30,000, $50,000 a month? And that, you know, he's visibly poor and he just feels really out of place for that reason. And I've always felt that Butch felt that way about himself, because he's one of those people where you can just see it like all over him that, you know, he comes from poverty or something like that. And he says a lot of self-deprecating comments in regards to it whenever he's out like amongst, you know, anybody else. We got a little bit of a teen mom crossover when Maci arrives in Arizona and Catelynn reveals that it was a miscarriage that brought her to this point. And Maci also shared that she too had a miscarriage with Taylor, and they both bond over the fact that they had their miscarriages super early. And Maci says that she didn't tell Taylor for at least 2 months that it happened, and I found that really odd. I wanted her to kind of clarify. I mean, you didn't tell Taylor you were pregnant until you miscarried, like 2 months after you miscarried? Or you miscarried and like pretended to be pregnant for another 2 months. I needed clarification there because it was a little bit like, whoa. Back in Mackenzie's world, she goes bowling with Ryan's family, and his dad pushes her to make the family a replacement baby and account for her schooling and all of this planning. While Mimi Jen, on the other hand, says that Ryan should wait before getting pregnant with her in order to be secure in his sobriety. Remember, he had only been allegedly sober for just a couple of months at this point, so Mimi Jen was like the only logical adult at this point. Over in Indiana, Amber talks about being told the truth about her shitty parenting on Twitter. Twitter, and MTV really laid it on thick with all the tweets you guys were sending to her. And on the flip side, Gary tells Christina about, all of the confrontations and all of Amber's comments. And Christina says that, first of all, the restraining order that Amber brought up her ex-husband having against her was only to keep their kid from filming the show. And she also said something that was really, really true, and it stuck with me as well. Especially considering I review her appearance on Marriage Boot Camp, which is much worse than here. And what Christina said was that at the end of the day, all of this bullshit, like ghetto, trashy shit that Amber does affects only Leah at the end of the day, because Leah's teachers are on the internet, probably on Twitter, probably read some of these magazines. Her kids, her friends' parents at school probably do as well. And now all of their dirty laundry is out there for the whole entire world to see and potentially judge Leah off of as well. I know some people like to pretend that they don't, but let's keep it all the way real here. A lot of people, I would say, in my opinion, judge whether or not their kids can be friends with other kids based on their backgrounds and stuff. And I feel like this can, hinder Leah when it comes to those sorts of things. Like, some people don't want their kids around, trashy, like weird, criminal, like crazy, abusive people. And that is their right when it comes to like Leah having sleepovers, potentially at Amber's house. If I had a kid and they wanted to go sleep over at Amber's house, especially while she was with Matt, I'd have been like, hell the fuck no. So Amber really does need to think twice before she goes and, puts anybody on blast, because at the end of the day, she's the only one with egg on her face, and Leah hurts the most out of anybody in all of this. Christina really seemed ready to cry when talking about how hurtful Amber's comments were, considering she does care for her daughter Leah full time while she's too quote unquote depressed to do it all year. Back in Arizona again, Maci and Tyler leave Catelynn and talk about how great she seemed over there. It turns out Kate wasn't even 3 weeks into her pregnancy. I had no clue they can even detect a pregnancy that early. Those drinks that they were chugging on were huge, by the way. I've never been to Whataburger, and now I'm dying to. So Maci reveals that she turned to God during her own miscarriage and said that the best thing for her was to be thankful for the kids that she does have at home, which I do think is important for someone like Kate or anyone else to realize that, if you feel like you can't turn to other people, maybe you can turn to like a religion, a spirituality, or something, you know what I mean? And that through anything in life, you do have to count the things that you are grateful for, because it can always be worse. So back on a new couch now, look at us moving on up. A producer asked Amber about her reaction to Twitter and all the comments, and she says that she doesn't feel bad about ditching Leah for 3 weeks to film a show or for the rest of the summer because of her convenient depression. Again, it's so amazing how this doesn't hinder Amber from doing the things that she actually wants to do. Like, committing to a show for 3 full weeks. She cannot commit to her child for even like 7 days out of what? 30 times 3 is 90. 7 days out of 90, but she can commit to 21 days in front of cameras and strangers. Amazing how this works for Amber. And let's not even forget all the red carpet she's ready to hit up with her new auntie looking bae. So she then attempts to cry over the critiques, but as usual, no tears were coming out. The girl really needs to invest in acting classes, because she seems committed to attempting to cry all the time whenever she wants sympathy, but there are never any tears coming out. Now, in the final scene of the episode, Maci returned home and talked about how hearing about Kate's miscarriage helped her heal through her own. It was nice to see the girls talk about these sort of things, because I feel like it could really help people, especially people feeling guilty about all of the thoughts that they had and wondering if anyone else, has the same, thoughts and guilts and stuff about that. I thought it was really important. So Maci also reveals to Taylor that she told Kate about their miscarriage as well, to help Kate know and that she understood what she was going through. Now, you guys, that wraps up a recap of the 16th episode of Teen Mom OG this season. But as usual, I'm more excited to hear what you have to say about everything. So please make sure to leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and we'll chat. You can also like this video, subscribe for more, feel free to share it with your friends as well, and follow me across social media where I absolutely love chatting with you. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.